Hello. All right, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday night principal, I guess, Chiro broadcast we call it. I don't even know anymore. Since we've gone to video, which I love. Let's see, announcements wise. GCC's got their summer CE next weekend. So if anybody's around in Georgia, that's a great way to get your credits. And then the next thing is DE. We get August, was it 13th, 16th? There it is. There it is. Let's see if I was right. Oh, it's not coming all the way up. But yeah, so we're going live in August. DE, Marietta. Can't wait. So hopefully everybody can join us. I know a lot of people are driving in just to make it easier. But just know that we're going to kick ass in August. So looking forward to it. Tonight, we have a younger DE chiropractor who's kicking ass. He just told me his office is back up to pre-virus numbers, so he's kicking ass and has a great practice. He was going to do this in a mask, but decided not to. He feels safe enough. I'm just messing with him. He's got some mask stuff going on, man, but it's all good, people. I love all of you, and thank you for being on. It's Dr. Justin Quail. Take it away, brother, man. We appreciate you.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. Man, it has been kind of a struggle to get mentally prepared for this today. DE has meant so much to me. It's changed my life. It's the reason that I'm still practicing chiropractic and not doing everything else. And it's hard because when I started into this practice, I opened Giving Tree Chiropractic 5 years ago. I was on every call. I went to every DE. I didn't miss anything. It's been a mess now that I have kids, but I remember tuning into these calls and just with a pen and paper writing down every little thing, like trying to write down like, oh man, that's good. Oh man, I love how he said that. Man, I can't believe she does it that way. I think I could do that too. Just kind of refining over and over. And like, to me, that's kind of what these calls have been about, is like getting grounded and getting back to DE. And it's huge, man. DE is such an important part of my existence. But, over and over as I did the breaths today and like just got more and more at peace and more quiet, I just felt so much noise in the background. Like, I'm sure you guys are over this crap too, right? This COVID response, because that's what this is. But man, my state, Virginia, is getting so jacked up right now. And it's really, it's been just for practice stuff. I'm going to get there. But Virginia has started doing this thing where we're doubling down, right? Our cases are increasing a little bit, and now we're making it more and more mandatory for people to wear masks. And what they're doing specifically in Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach, where I live, is they hired 500 people that are getting paid $25 an hour, which is insane, to go business to business to business to business to see if they're enforcing the mask law. And 5 businesses have been shut down so far. It's mainly like food and beverage, but when you're a DE chiropractor, you take care of sick people that want to get well, right? You take care of people with real issues. And 4 months ago, when all this debate about how should we respond to a disease, when this whole thing started, the people that I take care of that are ill, that have real problems, it's not just an inconvenience that they can't do this stuff. They were taking crap from day one of our 14 day response. It's day freaking 130 today of our 14-day response. And now our business, which is taking a stand to love on these people, is we're at risk, right? Because so it's just been such a mess, and it's hard because I can't imagine starting a practice right now, because if my mind is trying to go in all these different directions and I'm getting sidetracked and people are asking me questions about, well, does this thing really work? Well, what about this? What about hydroxychloroquine? What about, QAnon stuff? If all of our conversations get driven that way, we have to bring it back to the principle, right? So it's so easy to get trapped into talking about current events in the office. And man, to be honest, for years, like I remember Rob Schiffman talking about there's like a box by his front door that he kind of dumps all the crap into so that way he can get clear and take care of his people. And I remember Sid was talking about a guillotine, and that's how he said, you want to talk about chiropractic. It was proven with the guillotine, the moment you cut it off, then you're dead. That's it, that you're done. And that's how we know the nervous system is important. So I've thought about it. My front door is a guillotine that cuts me off from all that crap that floats around my head. And once I get in there, I'm pure and trying to help people. But if you're struggling right now, like, dude, you are not alone, because I didn't really know if I even could bring positive things to this. I'm just in a freaking rough spot. I'm angry, I'm just angry. And I don't want to get on here and rant. Like, I don't think that would be beneficial for everyone. But if you're pissed off, like, you're not alone. And I know some states have it easier than others. There's nothing more crazy than having one person on table 1 that's like terrified, and the person on table 2 just got back from Oklahoma for like 3 months, and they didn't even know it was still going on, So you're not alone, man. You're not alone. I feel like that's a phrase. If you were in my office, that's something you've heard a bunch over the last couple weeks. I think that's what the devil kind of does. I think that's how evil works, is it tries to sequester you and make you feel like you're alone in this whole thing, and you're not. Whether it's the politics and all this bull crap going on, whether it's your practice and you're just struggling to grow it, or if you had a great practice and it tanked, you're not alone. Like, there's a lot of people that want to help. And yeah, how nice. Just an awesome comment there. But that's the thing, is like, you look at this whole situation that we're in as principal chiropractors, and we're put in a very odd spot, because some of us feel like we gotta tell people they have this new fangled immune system, that we've only been learning about for a couple thousand years. And we don't want to take this outside in garbage. That's how I view it. I mean, I'm not, it's not to the point where I'm like going down and like punching, cold cocking people that are wearing masks. But like today, like freaking today, my wife goes to the mall to buy books on gardening, and people said mean things to her because she was walking around without a mask, calling her the B word, like people she doesn't know. And like, that's how divisive it is where I live right now. So I guess if you need an attitude of gratitude, if you're not in a place like where I am, just like be freaking really grateful, because it's nuts here. Like I was telling Brian before this whole thing started, I was at the beach. I live 20 minutes away from the beach here, and we go, all the time. We just love it. That's what Virginia Beach, you got to go. And we see kids with masks now. It's nuts. So bringing this back to chiropractic, if your practice really took a huge hit in all this nonsense, it may be because you reap what you sow. If you've built a really good practice about building about fixing back pain. If you built a huge practice on serving people to get them through their symptoms, you're probably freaking roughing it. And if our practice, like the practice that I'm in now, all we do is drill in the principle after the principle after the principle, like that's people don't come in. It's not about getting sick people well. It's about keeping people at 100% at all times. That's what people know. Like, if people are not feeling good, they get checked. If people are feeling great, they get checked. They want to have an awesome time golfing, they get checked. Like, it's just part of that lifestyle. And that's how I view chiropractic. So our practice, to be honest, our numbers dipped down a little bit from people that wanted that kind of drank the Kool-Aid. And I got families that still haven't left the house in 4 months, which is insane to me. But that's the thing, man. It's like you look at all on target. You just have to stay principled. So if you're struggling to keep your practice afloat, if you're struggling with Hampton Roads, like, there's not a lot of principled chiropractors around me, but we've started this band of brothers for 2-3 years now. A group of 3 of us have been meeting, and it's slowly growing bigger and bigger. But, when I get down and I need help chiropractically, I reach out to Reggie. I throw in the CD, I reach out to Sid. I reach out to Sigafus. I just throw it on repeat. I listen to my old DE recordings and listen to, Dan Deep, Judson, Lieberman, everyone, and all my friends on the Meme Dream team. There's a group of us that just send very crude memes to each other, which has been really enlightening during all this stuff. But man, Reggie would say, you can't plant corn and expect apples. You can't plant, tomatoes and get green beans. So if in your practice you've been planting symptom-based care for all this time because it got you through and you can make money doing it, and you haven't been educating people, my guess is your practice is hurting. So when do you make the change? Like, when do you start speaking truth? When do you actually tell the truth to your patients, to your people, to your community? I would argue, if you weren't doing it before, today's a good day. And honestly, if you're talking about a bunch of different BS that isn't chiropractic, then you should probably get back to talking to your patients about that today. There's enough toxic craziness out there, and people are scared. And chiropractic, the principle, offers them hope. Like, you're in this unique position where people may not have been able to see their family for months because they're afraid to. People maybe haven't done the things they love to do because they're not allowed to. And the person that they see is you. And what are you planting in that garden? Like, are you planting awesome conspiracy theories? I mean, there's some good ones, like the earth is flat and birds aren't real. Look it up. That's an awesome conspiracy theory. And it's true. I'm just playing. But, what are you planting? Like, are you just talking about politics? Are you talking about the game that's not happening? Right? Now's the time to really get straight with what you're telling people. And you have to be clear with your goals. We were talking at our last band of brothers about the report of findings. And one thing I do in the report of findings is I just sit down with the person and I just ask them, what is your goal? What do you actually want to get out of coming here? Pause. I've already explained chiropractic, so they already know what I do. They've already read the paperwork. It says chiropractic. That's all I do. I tell them I'm a chiropractor. I do chiropractic. That's all I do. So they know if they're here for chiropractic, they're in the right place. But I think it's important to just sit down, shut up, ask the patient, what do you actually want to get out of coming here? And more often than not, people are kind of stunned that you actually care to ask them that. And really quickly, they'll either say, I'm here for back pain, which is fine. People do it, man. Some people, like, you can have the best restaurant in the world, and some people still get well-welled steak with ketchup on it. I worked in the restaurant business for years. It sucks. It's hard to see them go down that road. ketchup on its steak, man, it's a waste. But other times people will tell you the truth, and that's like, man, I just want to play with my kids. I just want to love my wife better. I just want to get my freaking life back. And that's your role. That's your role in all this thing, man. I mean, really, the dynamic essential is about becoming humble and obedient to the will of God for you. So I guess it's a little audacious, like, for me to say that that's your role. But if you're a principal chiropractor on this call, more than likely that's your role, is to bring hope and tell people the freaking truth, no matter how inconvenient it is. And that kind of gets us into a bind in the middle of all this, right? I got people that were newer patients at the beginning of this that haven't left the house. And I take care of multi-generations of multiple families where grandma's still coming in, but their kids aren't and their grandkids aren't because they're afraid and they haven't left the house. And it's heartbreaking, man. Like, if you haven't seen an increase in people's subluxations and patterns lately, I think people are so inundated and marinated and stressed right now that they just freaking need you. They need you. God, I don't want to rant, man. I just kind of have to here. I'm pretty pissed off with the leadership, right? Not of DE. DE's baller. DE's amazing. This is why I go here. But the leadership of this profession, or the leadership, the people that say that's what they do. It's hard for me to hear someone get on a stage and talking about, changing consciousness and waking people up, and then recommend we close practices, right? And I'm not shooting shots here. I'm not calling out specific people. It's not the intention here. But that's what our whole profession kind of did. You see that message over and over, shared a million times, from worded different ways. You should never practice out of fear, right? You shouldn't practice out of fear, monetary fear, disease fear, whatever else fear. But if we're not willing to serve, then what the heck are we doing, right? If we're truly called to give, love, serve with no expectation of return, and we aren't doing it, then what are we? What the heck are we? So if our profession needs leaders, that leader is you, right? You lead in your community, and your community freaking needs you more than ever. People are freaking dying. And the great part, right, is like, my cousin's going to school at Sherman. He's going to be an amazing chiropractor. But he's down there, right? He's learning. He's doing his thing. I still believe it's the best time to become a chiropractor, because more than ever, people are questioning everything. People are questioning the medications, the mask, the this, the that. Like, people are seeing our community is watching the leaders of our state and our country, the health leaders specifically, flip-flop on every single solitary issue possible. This couldn't be more productive for someone whose principle hasn't really changed too much since 1895. Like, if you don't get that, you got to pick up a green book. You got to go to DE. Like, what we do is amazing, and we have a huge opportunity. So don't blow it, man. Don't blow it for me to get in the office and be clear for people. It's been hard, harder than ever, honestly. But you can do it. You can freaking do it. And if you need help, like, reach out to me, reach out to anyone through the DE movement. We're in this thing together, and you're just not alone. A couple weeks ago, I was asked to do a podcast, something way out of my comfort zone. I was doing a podcast. Actually, let's back up. I was in the state Virginia Capitol in Richmond, lobbying for medical freedom a couple months ago. I met this guy. He said, "Hey, look, I run a podcast. Would you like to speak?" And I said, "Not really. Do it if you need." So he's like, "I've never had a chiropractor on." I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." I didn't realize this podcast was tailored specifically to medical doctors. Basically, it was only medical doctors. And it's hard mentally to speak to people that don't understand where you're coming from, right? In DE, you already know the principle or you have a good base, but when you speak to someone who's in a completely different paradigm, completely outside in, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. So I'd be lying if I told you I was like comfortable giving this talking to medical doctors. Even though they were kind of like-minded, it was a cash practice podcast. But, and they wanted me to talk about chiropractors as primary care physicians, which pissed everyone off. Like the moment they posted, like, this is what he's going to talk about, like instantly all the keyboard cowboys were just raging on there, which is fantastic. But, if you think about it, it really makes sense that in this pandemic, these people have gone through drive-thrus and put rods down the back of their noses by someone that's masked, that they all they see is this. That's all I got. And they'll never see that person ever again. That is their relationship with medicine. And here you are in front of them, day after day, week after week, watching their body heal naturally and celebrating that fact. Like, there's never been a freaking better time to be a chiropractor. And it does make sense that we would be the first place that all people should go. Like, everyone needs to, if you have a spine and a nervous system, you should make sure it's working, get it checked. How hard is it to sell chiropractic? Like, that's what you got to tell people. And then what does checked mean? Just explain it. It's very simple. But I was on this podcast, and at the end of it, I was asked the question I didn't really want to get asked, which was, where do chiropractors fit in during the coronavirus? Where do chiropractors fit in during COVID-19? And my answer was, I don't know why I didn't prepare for this. Would have been pretty smart, duh. But my answer was that COVID-19 has done an amazing job illuminating all of the holes in the medical system. It's done a fantastic job showing how freaking awful our country's health is. Like, our basic general person walking down the street, their health is not that great. They're overweight, they're stressed out, they're working too much. This is where you come in. Like, this is what we do, is we encourage these people to get their lives back. So where does chiropractic fit into that? I don't think it's in closing offices. I don't think it's skirting around the truth that the body heals itself from above down, inside out. I don't think our role in chiropractic is to just be afraid. You shouldn't be operating out of fear. And you shouldn't be afraid of that person that's walking in the front door. I was telling Brian with this stupid freaking mask thing they got going on. Like I said, they've hired 500 people getting paid $25 an hour to go business to business and see if they're obeying the mask rules. And they've taken 5 businesses' license away, So when this news hit the first time, a couple months ago, they said there was a mandate. I got a little nervous, and I mentally thought, like, man, like, should I even take new patients? Like, what if one of those people comes in and they don't get what we do, and they see a crazy place full of lots of kids running around. Kids aren't wearing masks. They see people I take care of. Some of them wear masks, some don't. Bro, like, what if that person's coming to take my business away because I didn't force someone's kid to wear a mask? And then I realized, man, what the heck is this profession about? It's about serving people. How can we possibly be chiropractors, be afraid of that person walking in the door? So now that there's even more pressure, even more stress, with people with legit ramifications, losing their way of life, losing their business license, we shouldn't be afraid of the people walking in the front door. We shouldn't be afraid to tell the truth. And we're going to reap what we sow, so we may as well sow some freaking awesome seeds. I'll end with this. This is kind of fun. So my grandfather, he passed away like a year and a half ago. A couple of days ago was his birthday. He was one of my favorite human beings on the whole planet. That's a lie. He was my favorite human being on the whole planet, other than my wife. And he's an amazing man. He's a hard worker. if there was such a thing as good luck, he had the opposite of it. You know, he worked hard for everything his whole life, and he had a beautiful family because of it, and not a lot of material possessions, but all that crap doesn't matter anyways. So anyways, I used to go to his house, and it's 8 hours north of here, so I would drive from Virginia Beach, Maryland, DC, Pennsylvania, and I'd get there and I'd be so tired. And he would always talk, and he would tell he just loved World War II. And we talk about a lot of different things, but at some point he would talk about the Battle of Bastogne. If you've watched Band of Brothers, you've seen this part. It's amazing. It's crazy. If you haven't watched Band of Brothers, you've missed out. Like, please do that. Like, dear God, everyone's watching Joe Exotic. Watch Band of Brothers. It's better for your heart. Makes you actually like this country, which I love. But here's the drill. So after he died, I remembered the stories he would tell me. I would remember everything except the word Bastogne. It's a battle of, oh God, what was that place? I just couldn't remember it. I couldn't remember it. And I was feeling pretty down the other day, and all of a sudden it clicked. The Battle of Bastogne. So I looked it up, and I was watching that part. Band of Brothers. I didn't want to watch the whole series just to remember that. I kept, life's been busy. We just had a baby a couple months ago, which is awesome. But anyways, I looked this part up, the Battle of Bastogne, and there's this one character in the Band of Brothers who goes by Chesty. And I love this quote. This is amazing. And this is how I feel. Okay. He was a paratrooper, and they were a group of amazing men that fought against the odds. And this is a quote from him. It says, "They've got us surrounded again, the poor bastards." That's how I feel. I feel like even though Facebook is blasting some bullcrap narrative, even though the news and the TV is just trying to catch people off guard and make them believe things that aren't true, man, I feel so sorry for them, because what we have is the principle. What we have is the truth, and what you have is an opportunity to tell that truth to those people that need it. So with that, I love and appreciate you guys, and thank you for this opportunity. Thanks.
That was awesome, dude. I knew you'd put together some bullshit. That was awesome, man. Good job. And that quote is that quote is perfect, man. I love it.
Perfect.
I love it. That's freaking great, man. You see, you feel better already, man. Look at you. You're lighter than you were when you started, brother. But
Thanks,
sometimes
man.
you give, sometimes you get, man. But I appreciate you doing that. Next week, we've got Megan Afshar. Week after that, Mindy Weingarten. Please keep on plugging along. And if you get anything from Justin, man, shut out the bullshit and just freaking do your job, man. Show up and serve. Give these people a place to go that is positive and full of hope and love, and just, where they don't have to be worrying about every single thing that goes on. So I love and appreciate you guys. Justin, thank you so much for doing it. Congratulations on the baby and your great family and your practice, man. And to everybody, yeah, brother. We will see you next week. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.